I think we're going to see a different Luka come 2022. We're going to have to get through this month of him being a fatty and out of shape and huffing and puffing down the court. And then he starts getting in shape. We've already seen this play out throughout his career.
Right.
And if he wants to ever win an MVP, if he ever wants to be the true leader that he really wants to be and an all-time great in this sport, you can't show up as a fat ass and then by January go, hey, I'm in pretty good shape now. Let me try to carry this team.
Yeah.
I'd love for him to have better players. He's not the main issue on this team. What I'm specifically talking about here is my disappointment with Luka, because I thought a year and 2 years ago, my God, this is one of the greatest players I've ever seen, and he's going to enter the category of Magic and Bird and Michael and Kobe and LeBron. And now I'm seeing a guy that doesn't look like he cares to enter that status right now at 22 years old. He is happy with being great, not one of the greatest.
Who he's going to get frustrated losing, right? Like
I
at some
think
point.
so.
He gets frustrated losing in general.
He's a bad loser.
Even if some of that is brought on by him.
But he's the one who's losing.
Yeah.
He intentionally showed up out of shape to get off to a bad start every year.
That's where I'm trying to figure out, Mike, is it going to take somebody that he truly has respect for that tells him, hey, you have to do this, or is he just going to figure it out on his own? Because I think, like, watching The Last Dance, it felt like Michael Jordan just always had it inside.
Right. The season ended. He was ready to work out the next day.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, I'm not satisfied with winning. I'm not satisfied with losing. Nothing satisfies me except being the greatest of all time.
LeBron, I think, has had that internal, like, he doesn't need anybody to tell him to go do these things.
Yeah.
And Dirk,
and he doesn't seem to deal with weight issues either, the way Luka does.
Dirk never had the same thing also, but Dirk also had Holger, who every summer he would work on something with. So he had this plan, this offseason plan, except I think after the championship, Dirk went to Australia and just kind of disappeared a lot that summer. So I think that more than anything, he's at such a young age thrust into this limelight of being the star. I don't know who it is that can talk to him. So it has to be him internally that finds it. And I do think the one Olympic season was a blast for him. Can he say, you know what, I don't need to do that anymore. I need to focus here. So there are the two things of, can he find it on his own, or does somebody have to say it? Nobody in this organization, I think, has respect to say it.
Mark isn't going to say it. Mark is happy doing Shark Tank and dancing around with his buddies. Then
you think Kidd will?
I hope so.
Isn't this the idea that
does he respect Jason Kidd enough?
I think so, but I don't know when Kidd's going to get the balls to be the real coach of this team. Because what he's trying to do right now, Jason Kidd, and I think it's starting to come out, Jason Kidd is a really smart basketball brain. But what he's trying to do, what he was somewhat hired to do, is not be Rick Carlisle. And he played for Rick for a long time. Rick was a hard ass. Rick rode you. Rick didn't care to be your friend. Rick cared about getting the most out of you. And it rubbed these young guys the wrong way. Sure. Like, he's an ass. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't like me as a person. He's not, wanting to hang out with me the way I want him to hang out with me, right? Mark's partying. Mark wants to party with all the players. Let's go out and party. Like, that's who Mark Cuban is. And so I'm thinking Jason Kidd has to pick his moment when he's going to go to the person that I want him to be and need him to be for Luka. I think he's letting Luka almost fail right now and then go, Luka, like at the end of this season. I don't know. I think he'll work on him during the season, but at the end of the year, I think he's going to say, you can't go home and become a fat ass, come back, have a bad start to the season, and then work your way into shape throughout. You can if you want, but we're never going to accomplish what we want to accomplish here. And you're never going to accomplish the goals that I think you have set out for yourself to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And unfortunately, I do think, Kevin, he will figure it out. To Corey's point, I think he's going to figure this out. Unfortunately, when you look at people who do this, they usually start figuring out at 25, 26. Dirk is a little bit of a different case, but around 26 years old, Dirk was like, I got to somewhat eliminate alcohol. I got to eliminate some of these foods that I'm eating. I got to if I want to have a great long career, around 26 is when Luka figured it out. Joel Embiid was just a happy-go-lucky, whatever happens, happens. I get hurt, so what? What can I do about it? In the last year and a half, around 25, 26, 27, these guys seem to really understand, if I want to be an all-time great, if I want to lead a team to a championship, I'm going to have to change a lot of my habits. And I think when Luka decides that, we're going to put a pretty crappy product around him for the rest of his career here. And at 25 or 26, Luka's going to leave. And he's not going to have any playoff success in Dallas. And he's going to say, I have to become better in shape, a better player, a better leader, all of these things, but he's going to do it for another team, and that's when he's finally going to mature and take off.
So the possibility still there for the eventual outcome that you envision in terms of being one of the greats of all time.
It can be.
Just without most of that greatness that like really pushes him into greatness being with the Mavericks.
I didn't know that he was like this, as in, I thought he could be great. I compared him to Magic Johnson when I was watching him play for Real Madrid and watching it on YouTube, and a couple games where I'd watch a full game. Like, my God, he reminded me more of Magic Johnson than he did of the scoring guy he's become in the NBA. That being said, his work ethic has to be tremendous. Okay, so his work ethic has to be tremendous that at 14 years old, he was the greatest 14-year-old player in the world. At 17 years old, he's the greatest 17-year-old player in the world. At 18 years old, he's winning the MVP of the second greatest league in the world. So I'm not saying Luka doesn't have work ethic. Luka has a tremendous work ethic, but it's almost like he's reached a point where he's stopped. His greatness has stopped. But to get greater, he can get better. But he has to put himself in better eating habits, better workout habits, better off-season habits. He has to learn how to be a better leader. He has to stop complaining to the refs and giving up free baskets. Jason Kidd talked about that the other day after they lost another game. Like, we feel sorry for ourselves.
To Luka's credit about specifically him, Luka did say he's probably got a point. Like, I don't know if that's going to change.
Fix it, right? He knows he has a problem. He just can't. It's like, I can't stand you licking your lips or licking your fingers, but I got to change. Like, I got to get over that, right? And it's like Luka says, yeah, I know I have a problem, but I'm not going to get over it. I'm going to keep losing basketball games to prove my point to referees. And so his maturity can get better. So all of these things can get better, but so far, and I thought they would get better this year. First of all, I thought he'd be in good shape after the Olympics. But if you look at his Olympic pictures and you look at his play and his pictures he put on 10 to 15 pounds. Even my wife, who barely watches basketball with me, she walked by the other day and said, gosh, Luka doesn't really have definition in his arms like basketball players do because he has on extra weight on his body.
Is there any chance that it was not just for this year specifically, it was not laziness but fatigue that led to some of those problems after playing the Olympics?
I do think a little bit, but then I do this. Jordan did all that too and didn't have fatigue. Now, I get he didn't have to carry a whole country like with no other great player on the team. But like Jordan was like the day after losing against the Pistons. Like, it was like the next day. It's like, let's go. You hear about Jerry Rice or Walter Payton. The greats of the greats, like we mentioned Emmitt Smith's house. Somehow their energy is endless. And they're like, no, I'm ready to go tomorrow to start my offseason. I'm not taking a month off and eating a whole bunch of fatty foods and drinking a whole bunch of alcohol and just relaxing. And I get, you need a vacation every once in a while, and you need to relax every once in a while to give your body a little bit of rest. But he went from Olympics to I'm not doing anything till I show up in Dallas basketball wise. And it's showing itself. He's not one of the 10 best basketball players in the world right now in the NBA. He still is, but he's not playing like it. And he'll get back into shape at some point. We've unfortunately seen this pattern from him. He's a Shaquille O'Neal pattern guy right now. I think it'll change. I really do. But unfortunately, I think it's going to change for the next organization he plays for, because I think we're going to see this pattern until 25 or 26, and he doesn't have any championships. He's never played in an NBA Finals. This team isn't getting better around him, and he's going to have to look at himself and go, not only do I have to improve because this isn't good enough, but this team also isn't good enough. And then I think we'll see this transition when he probably becomes an LA Laker.